welcome everyone. Welcome to a partner webinar. These webinars are very exciting for me personally because I get to have an amazing partner join me. Jess Kotzer is an amazing partner who has a strong background, as she'll share herself, but strong background in marketing, events, and so on. And excited to introduce Jess and see what she's got for us in store today.
Okay, is that my cue?
Over to you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Jess. I started off in marketing. I was one of those millennials who went to a technical college to get your boot camp training. And I've learned all the things about funnels and attention, networking, relationships. But it wasn't really until I started automating that I feel like I became a real marketer. So I'm really happy to be in a room full of database builders today because, as many of us know, we can really multiply and clone ourselves by building custom applications to support our processes. So something I have learned over the last 10 years is how valuable collaborations are. And that's why today we're talking about one type of collaboration. You can take what we're talking about today and apply it to all sorts of things. We're going to talk about summits as an example, but group promotion, product bundles, coupon bundles. The real point of the database infrastructure I'll be showing you today is how can you leverage other brand partners to build an epic event where your whole industry, or whoever you want in your industry, is rallying behind you and some sort of group collaborate. Avi, should I share the slides?
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in here with a few housekeeping things. First of all, we're going to try to keep today's Q&A to related topics to this webinar. And so we're going to try not to go too much off topic on product roadmap stuff or stuff like that. Feel free to reach out to our support team on any questions like that. But everyone is encouraged to chat in the chat, and any questions that you want just to address at the end of the webinar, just throw them in the Q&A section, and we will have an open Q&A towards the end. Over to you, Jess.
All right, let me throw up my screen. We're going to share screen one. Okay. So let's jump into, very briefly, I want to talk about why this matters today. And then we're going to dive deep into the infrastructure. But coming to you from Ontario and New York, I'm Jess. Again, I'm a marketer and event planner, and I'm here with Avi, who invited me here today. And very briefly, a summit, a conference, some sort of large-scale collaborative event is going to deal with a topic for a niche, and it's a multi-brand event. I personally believe that the more niche down you get, the better it is for everybody who's involved, because then you can really focus on specific solutions and invite other collaborators who really have the most audience overlap with you. Why I believe summits are important, like I said, your industry can rally behind you. So I just had a recent event in January, and it was for a very specific niche, indie authors. And there were a few people who, when I asked, when they're getting their tickets, where did you hear about me? Because I was focused on a niche, and because these authors were on all these different email lists of some of my speakers, contributors, and affiliates, some of them were just like everywhere. And that was really cool. That was a really cool experience. So why collaborate? It's a really accelerated way to build that trust factor with your ideal customers who haven't even heard of you yet. But when 5 or 10 people who they already follow are vouching for you in this event, it's like a no-brainer for them to check it out, at least land on your registration page and see what it's all about. So how we do this, there's of course a sandwich of strategy and infrastructure and execution and marketing, but we're going to really talk about partner management, tech, and marketing today, and how SmartSuite helps us with all of these things. So steps, super high level. Yes, we need that strategy. What's your topic and your niche? What's your timeline? And not just your timeline for your launch date, but your timeline for pitching your speakers and onboarding them, sending them their intake forms and contracts and all that stuff. Your front and back end infrastructure, this is going to be heavy duty work that most, maybe 99% of summit hosts who do this on the regular will spend hundreds of hours on, which you will not, because you are here and because you know how to build this infrastructure and automate it. We will talk about prospecting and onboarding partners. That's a part of your backend infrastructure, but it's still part of the steps. And then how to add partners to your website. So your partners will send things like their basic details, their headshot or their logo, their business bio and homepage. If it's a speaker, their presentation title. If it's a product bundle, their contribution image, coupon code, and access link. Things like that, we want to push automatically to the front end of your website. And then marketing the events, hosting the event. These are high level the steps of throwing your own virtual event. So, of course, all sorts of tech that you can use. This is my tech stack. So for communications and forms, just stick to SmartSuite. I throw Zoom in there as well for partner info sessions. Contracts, there's all sorts of contract software you can use. Dropbox Sign, Document, PandaDoc. Affiliates, I use Thrivecart. There's things for Stripe like Tap Affiliate, different plugins for that. Swipe files, just do it in SmartSuite. Website, I use Softer because of the ability to build on top of interfaces and because SmartSuite and Softer are working on something really cool right now. If you believe in tripwires, you can use something like Deadline Funnel, email and social media marketing, MailerLite, MailChimp, something like that, plus socials, how we want to push things to socials and everything with a little star beside it. I'm just thinking in terms of what are external tools other than SmartSuite where we're automating. So using Zapier to actually scrape data from Thrivecart, from Dropbox Sign, and to your socials as well. Okay, we're going to get into some database stuff now. So we talked about your speakers, your partners. I will probably use these words interchangeably. These people will make or break your event. So it's really important that you do your research and understand who is a good partner for you. So are they in your industry? Do they have an awesome lead magnet? So not just a discovery call, because you want to know they are building an email list. Are they active on social media? Do they talk about more than themselves? So this is your summit partner management solution, where we're going to start keeping track of all the people you're interested in having in your event as partners, and also tier them. So I will make sure that I reach out to tier 3 people first, so that by the time I get to tier 2 and tier 1, I can say to my tier 1 people, 2 or 3 recognizable brands are involved in this event. I will also make sure that at this stage, I at least have a partner info page and a registration page to show them so that they know this is legit. Okay, so we have your context here and a timeline. So there is not just a customer journey for your attendees, there is a partner journey from pitch to reminder pitch if they didn't get back to you, if they're in to sign a contract, if they didn't sign it yet to remind them. So there's all these different steps. Intake, collecting that information that you're going to put on the front of your website, removing them if they don't go through the steps, asking them to sign up as an affiliate, sending them their promotional materials, asking them to promote, and then maybe sending them a thank you email with a survey at the end. So there's a journey that your partners are taking as well. So we have your context, we have your timeline, and this is an art, not a science. I've played around with this timeline where sometimes I'll just send everything to the partners, so contract, intake, and affiliate sign up all at once so they can work on it at their own leisure. But I really like this structure since it gives your partners micro tasks to do instead of asking them to do everything at once. And you can play around with dates. Here I have my summit start date. and just a little formula set up so that if I want to increase the time, I know exactly when I'm sending emails. Now I want to make sure that these contacts get a pitch. They get a pitch round 1, round 2. They get every single one of these touch points. And that's why in this communications table, I've set it up so that they each get their own row. Okay, so we have all of these different points, touch points with my partners that I want to make with them. And the way I get them all in here, I'm taking my contacts and setting up a trigger so that when, let's say Dave test, when Dave's name and email exist, I'm going to set up automations back here and make sure that that trigger will give Dave a row for pitch round 1, for the intake, for the survey, for all of those touch points that I want to make. So now Dave, in a moment's time, should get all of these touch points in my communications journey. Oh, so there's Dave. And if I refresh the page, then I believe everybody else should return to. Okay, so the reason why instead of just putting all of these people into a CRM or something like MailerLite is I want to make sure that every single one of my partners feels like a VIP. And with every single touch point, I always leave room for a personal connection field and a PS field. I sometimes use the PS field. I always use the personal connection field. And that way, it's not spam. Like we all get generic emails, even from our clients and our VIP partners. And it's fine, but it's obvious, right? It's obvious that it's just generic and doesn't have anything personal about it. So this is where I would create scripts in the back end of SmartSuite and use my scripts in conjunction with personalized fields or dynamic fields that are not just the name. So it's not just, hey, Jess, hope you're well. Here's a generic script. But hey, Jess, how's your mom doing after knee surgery? Last time we talked, she was just getting out of the hospital. So just wanted to make sure I checked in and asked that she's okay and you're okay before I get started with what I'm about to ask you. Or if you've never heard of them before, or they've never heard of you rather, then this is where you could say, I discovered you on this podcast discussing this topic, which is super interesting to me. And I love your unique selling proposition. Fill in the blanks and make it more specific, but hopefully you get the point. So that way you have something personal, then you can hop into the script where you say, that said, I'm throwing my annual summit on topic for niche, and I would love for you to speak on Summit SmartSuite automation. So this is where that dynamic field comes in again. So you are mixing and matching the personalized and the dynamic. And I'll just quickly show you an example of pitch round 1, but you can use this for every single point you're making with your partners or your prospective partners. So this automation will trigger when the link to the timeline is pitch or contains pitch round 1. And we're clicking that send email button. And then here is a little walkthrough. So we have a static subject line, but we have their unique email, their unique name. Let's throw their name in there. Sorry, I'm OCD. I want to make sure it looks right. There's that personal connection field. So there's the, hey, Jess, how's your mom doing after knee surgery and all that. That said, here's some generic text. Here's that. It would be lovely if you spoke on that subject, SmartSuite automation, though I'm open to ideas. Here's my calendar. So this is where we're really personalizing every single touch point with our partners. Okay, so we have pitch round 1, and we can see here what their role is. So we see that Jess Jones has already agreed to be a speaker. Les Kim I don't know where I came up with these names. Les Kim, no reply yet. Jane Lee, contributor. So when I change the roles, then we can have it over to pitch round one. And if they've said I'm in, then anyone who is now a speaker, contributor, or affiliate, they're not going to show up in pitch round two. Contract request one. This is where, again, we got that personal connection field and PS field and a send email field so that when we are in onboarding, sign contract, when that is the link to the timeline that we're in, and send email sent. It's a totally different email script where you have the option to check in to say you saw their dog's haircut on Instagram or whatever. And then you can dive into it's time to get onboarded. First step is to sign your contract. Now, this is where I'd use something like Zapier or Make to create a trigger where if contract is signed and the email of the signer matches the email in your database, to update the record. So now their contract exists here. If the email does not match, because we all have 15 emails, then that's where I'd send myself an automation, like a text, to be like, someone signed something, didn't match any emails, go manually investigate. So now that contract exists here, hop over to contract request 2. Here, if their contract field is empty, then we're going to ask them for their contracts again. If it's full, we don't need to bother them. So we're really personalizing, because in my experience, being a speaker and contributor and affiliate for lots of different events, it's pretty generic. And the thing I see most often is, and if you have not yet done these things yet, here's a link tree. When you're just bombarded with links and you're like, did I do it? I forget. So this way you are really holding your contributors' hands. Then we have intake requests. And this is where we have same kind of structure going on, but I've built a separate solution. And I was just talking to Avi about how crazy this feature is about SmartSuite, but I really wanted to move the intake, the deliverables app that was originally in this solution to another one. And I was just like, oh man, I have to do so much work now. I have to rebuild a whole other solution. And then I realized I could just click move to another solution. And that's exactly what I did. And it moved everything, even the linked records, which is really crazy. So here is where I'm collecting that partner data, partner information. So where they've signed their contract, now I'm collecting their basic info. I'm using HTML blocks to make just pretty headings and centering them, and their contribution info. So we got title, description, category, URL, image, whatever you want can go here. And I have another HTML block here. So you will be redirected to a thank you page. And you can set up your redirect links like that. And I also like to redirect them to sign up for a partner mixer kind of thing. My goal is to make sure partners feel like friends. So that's why there's so much personalization here. But it's also why you need something like SmartSuite to scale that level of personalization. So we have your form here, and then we can hop over to your grid view, which is always going to be my favorite view, to review all the information that your partners have sent and make sure it's all spelled correctly. And then I have this filter on where push to site is no. And as soon as I've reviewed it and I want it on my site, I move it to this ready for website view. And this is where I'm not sure, Avi will know the answer to this, but in a few months' time, you can actually just push all of this to a software website, beautiful software website where your partner information is going to show up in a template that you set up once and forget. So here's some information here. And of course, all of this information is linked back to our partner management solution. And that's why we can see here, intake is completed with these two people, which then means, of course, that I'm not asking them for intake again. And then in a similar fashion, we have affiliate sign up requests. So here you've got your personal connection fields, same thing, but now we're hopping over to a solution for your transactions. And this is where affiliate information lives. So this is where I'm using Zapier to send information. Once someone signs up as an affiliate, they're going to show up in this solution here. So we have their affiliate ID, their affiliate links. It's linked back to contact. So of course, now I can see their affiliate links in the communications solution. And we can also, while we're here, hop over to this transactions table, and you can set up dashboards with all of the data coming in through your transactions, which is super cool, like your progress metrics. Here, I'm looking at total sales versus affiliate by dates. And I can see here the percentage of contributors bringing in sales versus speakers. And if you want to add any extra widgets, you just come in here and it's super easy to set up. And then of course, back to grid view for transactions though. This is where we're automatically bringing in your attendee information. So we have your attendees, their email, processors, Stripe or PayPal in my case. If there's an affiliate, their name is going to show up here. So we're automatically linking to your affiliate info. We can see if the affiliate makes a commission, we deduct that plus the processor fee to get the net of what you're taking home at the end of the day. So this solution also linked back to this solution. And of course, I think you get a sense of what's next. I'm not going to bug anyone if they've already signed up as an affiliate for this affiliate reminder email. But now I can see things like, let's head back over here. I could see things like how many people each affiliate has brought in. And I've linked this to my deliverables table as well. So where's that? Have I done that? If I haven't, I should definitely do this leaderboard. So what I would do here, since I haven't done it yet, is look up that leaderboard number. So make sure that Jess Jones, we can see that number in this table. And then I would auto sort all of these partners by the people who've brought in the most commissions or the most sales, and then have it auto sort on the front end of my website as well. My top 4 to 8 contributor or partners, I would give them their own real estate where there's only 3 columns instead of 4 columns, and in their own section with maybe an attendees badge. So an automation that says if leaderboard equals 5, activate attendees badge, attendees choice badge. So that's a really cool feature that you cannot get without building a relational database that you can also push automatically without thought to the front end of your website. So there's a lot going on here. And the last thing I wanted to point out was, let's go back here, was this promotions point. So because we have your partners' affiliate links, they're unique links, we can do what most people never do. And that is to build swipe copy with their unique links in it so that they can truly, if they want to, copy paste the promotional materials you've given them without needing to look for the big capitalized red bolded letters that say, insert your link here. We want to make this as easy as possible, especially on partners who are busy because they're doing well and they have a following and they have a lot of work to do. They're probably going to bring in the most attendees if they actually have the capacity to promote. So personalizing this process for them, holding their hands and making it super easy to promote is really key. All right, Avi, I think we're good here.
Yeah, wow. What an excellent webinar. Really comprehensive way to use SmartSuite. Thank you, Jess.
No
And
problem.
for the folks here, why don't you start popping in some questions? If you have any questions, what was just presented, feel free to chime in. Any comments and thoughts? I thought that was really spectacular.
Thanks, Avi.
Looks like we have quite a quiet crowd today. Look at that.
Okay.
We got a question popping from David. Did you map this out before building it or evolve over time?
I map it out. I think if it's your first summit ever and you're in that I don't know what I don't know stage, I would recommend asking someone who's done it, just sitting down over Zoom or coffee and figuring out what the process is. I always start with, what are my workflows? What do I need to do? Start to finish, I need to talk to some speakers. Okay, it starts with a pitch. It has a contract and an intake form and affiliate sign up somewhere in there. So figuring out your workflows first is really important. And figuring out a timeline for both front end and back end for your partners and for promoting to your actual attendees. So when do you want to make the registration page live? For me, it will be 14 to 40 days before the event. I don't like to launch things way too soon, but yeah, figuring out launch dates, touch point dates with partners, touch point dates with your own email subscribers, that kind of thing. And making it clear, those swipe files that you'll probably give your partners, giving them dates as well. I would recommend sending this email on this date. I don't like to ask my partners to send that many emails. So that part's easy for me. But getting your timeline down is really key, and getting your workflows down is key before building this out. I can't imagine building this out on a whim.
That's awesome. Okay, a few comments came in over here. Carol says I love the personal touch in the emails. Adria says it was excellent. Sharon says great setup. Scott says very impressive example. It gives me a lot of new ideas to incorporate. That's one of the things I love about seeing other people's. I always tell partners, show me what you set up. It gives you so many, you can get so creative with SmartSuite, and just seeing other people's setups gives you so many ideas. We have a question here coming in from PW. How are you pulling your attendees and numbers in? I use Eventbrite. What do you suggest I use to get my info into SmartSuite? Also, I'll just share both questions and you can tackle them one at a time. But the same person is asking also with email automation, just checking again. However, is there an option to email using email provider other than Gmail and Outlook?
Okay, so regarding your first question, PW, I don't know about Eventbrite. I would just go into Zapier or Make, whatever your automation go-to tool is, and see if that is something that you can integrate with SmartSuite, or to see if there's an API and you could custom integrate that. But I use Thrivecart, and there's all sorts of things: WooCommerce, Equid, Stripe, all of these different tools where you can pull in your transactional data in real time just by setting up an automation and matching the fields in your database. So making sure you pull in transactions, affiliate information as well. Thrivecart, I don't love Thrivecart, but to me, it is the best option for summits because it's really easy when it comes to transactional data and affiliate data. It all comes in together. So that's why I use Thrivecart to make sure that the affiliate information is accounted for as well. Oh, and the next question with the email automation, Avi, maybe you are better at answering that.
Yeah, so the email automation, I guess there's two aspects. You can email from record, And currently we're in phase 1 of that, which you have to use the kind of SmartSuite no reply email. Replies will come in back into SmartSuite. And when you send it, the name is your name, but you're right, it's using like a back-end email address from SmartSuite. Phase 2 of that feature is to allow you to authenticate your own email, whether you're using Gmail or Outlook and so on. And emails will, and you'll have both options. You can either use SmartSuite's email, which some customers love because they can keep their inbox separate and get the replies directly back into SmartSuite on those types of emails, but then have their regular emails in their inbox. But you will have the option of authenticating your own email and still having replies come in. That's phase 2 of that. Our developers are working on that. And then there's another option where you can go into the automation center, and over there you can authenticate your own email, whether you're using Gmail or Outlook, and you can send out of your own inbox using SmartSuite automation. So essentially when the SmartSuite automation fires, it sends an email out of your inbox. The replies will go back into your inbox. There's a third option, which first of all, Zapier, Make, or Apply, all three. You can use your own inbox as well. So that would be the third option of being able to use your own inbox. We have another question coming in from PW. How do you change the first name portion of the SmartSuite email? What drives that? And so I believe that is driven by your username. So essentially your username within SmartSuite dictates that first name or what that comes as. And so whatever you call yourself within SmartSuite, hopefully that's your name. That's what's showing up on your email. Okay, excellent. Any other questions or comments? We'd be happy to take them. Otherwise, we can give everyone a bit of time back in their day. I can't wait for this to actually be a public recording. We can obviously share it. I think a lot more people who didn't join would find tremendous value. Okay, seems like we covered it. Thank you, Jess, for joining us. If anyone has any needs for setting up SmartSuite or other no-code platform, I believe Jess is taking on clients. As you can tell, Jess is very talented with setting up workspaces, and definitely reach out to Jess for any help implementing products like SmartSuite. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, all.